Hey everybody, welcome to Ticket Stubs and Popcorn.
Hey, welcome to...
I'm Peter.
He's Peter. I'm Frank. I'm interrupting Frank.
How are you doing today, Frank?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
I'm
great because I'm doing great.
Alrighty.
So what's going on
Today we are featuring Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. Oh my God, that's the girlfriend I always wanted. Seriously, she's bright, she's funny, she's cute. Man, oh man. Can I meet women like that? Because I am neither bright nor funny nor cute.
Okay. You check all the boxes. There we go.
I check all the boxes, and yet there's nothing.
I'm lacking in all the boxes.
I am lacking in all of those boxes. My boxes are lacking.
Yes.
And apparently my boxers are lacking. Boom.
Wow.
Self-deprecation day here at the show, folks. So
it's more like true confession.
Hey, wow.
Alrighty.
So before we get started, speaking of Tina Fey, let's ask this question. Why is SNL still on? Saturday Night Live.
Okay, why is it still a thing?
Why is Saturday Night Live still on? Okay. Should it be? We'll talk about SNL at the end of the show here.
Sure.
But why don't you go on and on about Tina Fey?
Okay. All righty. Tina Fey. Like you said, funny. She is funny. She fits in so many different things. She plays well with others. She works well with certain, really good. So I'm just going to, I'll start off with one baby mama, and I'm using this one. I like this one, but I'm picking it because she teams so well with Amy Poehler.
Yeah,
and
she really does.
This is a good
really
one. Yeah,
does.
she
recently
she is in another right. We did Amy
Poehler.
Yeah. And she is in.
Check out that Amy Poehler show.
Yeah, she is another one. Another movie, Sisters. But I'm picking Baby Mama. In this one, Tina is the
Felix.
Is the fifth? Yeah, she's the uptight, driven career person who wants a baby, and
she's just that career mom wanting to have it all.
Yeah, she wants to have it all, and very serious things are got to be this way.
Yeah, they got to be this
driven, and
brings home the bacon.
There's like no room for deviation. It's got to be this way, and of course, then when you bring in the Amy Poehler side of it, and they work so well together, and you could see how they are good friends in real life, and you could just tell they work well. They play off each other. This one, I like the uptight kind of character.
You're trying real hard not to say anal retentiveness.
Yeah.
So
because in Sisters, they've kind of swapped roles in a way, but I kind of like this representation of that character of the uptight, career-driven, business person. I like that one a lot. And like I said, she can do anything, and I really like her when we get to. It's almost as if we get to see more of Tina Fey when they team her up with somebody, and that almost sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like if she were starring, if she were all by herself, not all by herself, but if she were like the main character and in every scene, I don't know if it would be as successful. She does so well.
Teamed up with people.
Teamed up with
an
people.
Ensemble.
Yeah, it almost seems like it brings out more of her, even though in theory you'd be sharing.
Well, I think her background is, because I believe she did like groundlings work and she wrote for SNL.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So there's a lot of like collaborative kind of work.
That whole teamwork thing, mentality.
She's not one that you would like see doing stand up.
No, not really. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we see her more in the skit ensemble things and writing.
Yeah.
So so I love Baby Mama. Another one is she did one for me that was a little bit of a revelation because I didn't. There isn't anything about her that doesn't lend itself to voice work, but I just never thought of her in terms of that one. But recently, when I say recently, 2 years maybe, in the Disney Pixar movie Soul,
she was great.
she plays 22.
Yeah.
That's the character's name, 22. And she's this snarky, negative kind of.
Yep.
The whole thing is you have to find your spark, and she doesn't want to find this spark. She has no spark. It's a little bit of a not
she's
joyless,
like, leave me
but
alone.
she's just leave me alone. Yeah, I'm better off. I've seen what this is like, and there's nothing there for me. And I mean, later on, the characters we find out more. Maybe
it's a Pixar movie, so characters grow. There's
so there is
depth there.
There is development, and so you find out maybe it's insecurity that's keeping her from trying, so she doesn't fail. But I just love it because you hear so much in the voice.
Yeah,
and she can project, and in this case, this snarky kind of just leave me alone.
Yep.
Doesn't want to try anymore because who wants to fail? You don't need that.
Exactly.
And that's what she hasn't gotten her badge, and it's the whole thing. It's so it's a wonderful movie. It's got a couple different things going on. Obviously, there is on the Earth, living human side of it. There's that story, but then that dovetails into to the great before, I guess beyond, whatever that's called. I think the great before. But then that's when we meet these souls to be, or the souls that are having it. And that's and so she works very well. And like I said, there's no reason why you wouldn't think that she wouldn't that she couldn't be a success in this field. I just never thought of her necessarily as doing voice work. But there she was, and it catches your attention. It's Tina Fey.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? And that kind of makes you, that adds another layer. You watch and you go, oh, that's Tina Fey. You know what I mean? And you're like, so that brings the whole thing, and I love that. There's other movies out here, so now I got to limit it to one last pick, a third pick. And as I said with Amy Poehler, Tina Fey teams up well. There are movies where she's just really compatible with people, but there's one actor who they teamed her up with, and I am surprised that we don't see more of this. I really like this movie. The movie itself is good. It's not great. It's called Admission, and it's with Paul Rudd. And she does really well with Paul Rudd. And it's kind of a rom-com, kind of drama, dramedy, whatever you want to call it. There's a few aspects
they tried to
in
shoehorn in a romantic comedy thing in there.
But
that's not great. And the rest of the movie is not a great story.
No.
So it's commit to the rom-com.
Yeah, either pick one or the other. Yeah. I think she does well. I think with Paul Rudd, they could have either chosen, like you say, to go straight rom-com or something else, a buddy something, but they aren't. But I when I saw the movie, I said, why don't they team these up with a better plot or a better script story. Or a better story, right? Something. But what I like is Tina Fey is doing more drama, but it's not exactly all drama. There obviously is comedy in there. But I liked that. I saw something of her that I hadn't really seen, and she is a little bit, starts off with that kind of personality that we see her portray sometimes, the uptight one. She does the right thing all the time. Then stuff's happening in the movie where she's out of her comfort zone. She's got to start wondering. She starts thinking about her own past could this teenager be her own son, and then that maybe causes her to do things that aren't ethical.
It's a weird story.
And so she does stuff that's a little out of the way her character is portrayed. It kind of heightens things, and then stuff happens where she actually she does something where she definitely shouldn't have done it, and she loses her job because of it. And I thought, this is like, it was kind of interesting to see Tina Fey play this character, and it wasn't played for laughs. That part's not played for laughs. And I thought to myself, gee, I kind of like seeing her, not follow the rules, have some consequence to her thing, and have a nice, in this case, there was, like I said, there was a Paul Rudd character in there, and I thought, I would like to see them paired up together again, but with maybe a better script. But I like,
get rid of Evangeline Lilly. You make Tina Fey the Wasp. That's what we do. Put her in the next Ant-Man movie, right?
You never know. But I love Tina Fey's work. She's all around better than sometimes we give her credit for, because we don't see a lot of different sides of her.
Right.
She's funny, intelligent. She writes well.
Oh God,
good stuff.
So those are great writer.
Those are my three.
All right.
Tina Fey picks, though.
My three, and we don't overlap.
Very good. I'm glad
we don't. My first one,
I like that.
I gotta take 30 Rock, because her portrayal of Liz Lemon is just gold standard. Tina Fey, beautiful. And this is one of those things where it's her all over it. Yeah, she is. I mean, it's her show. It's her baby, and Liz Lemon is just an amazing character. She's funny. She's vulnerable. She's trying to have it all, kind of thing. Yeah, and that show was fantastic. And it took it's so funny because it came out at the same time as another show about like an SNL type of show. Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Those two shows came out at the same time. 30 Rock and Studio 60 came out at the same time. And the other one was more of a kind of like almost like a sports night, but in like late night comedy kind of setting, right? And so it's these two shows with the same setting kind of competing, and 30 Rock won out. It was so good, and you had Tracy Morgan on there, and once that show got its footing, the early seasons are a little bit weird, but once it decided that it's going to be a little bit weird, oh my God, it just takes off, and it is fantastic. And all of her friends are in there. It's so Rachel Dratch shows up, John Hamm shows up, and he's absolutely hilarious. It's and her dynamic with Alec Baldwin is just phenomenal. It's a great, and it's never ever ever a will they won't they. They're just mentor and mentee, and they become great friends. It's such a great show, and it's so many laugh out loud moments, and everybody gets a chance to be funny, and it's so great. It's my favorite, my absolute favorite Tina Fey vehicle. She's so funny in it. It's so great. She gets to nerd out with like Star Wars references and stuff. Like, she dresses up as Princess Leia to get out of jury duty, and the court's just like, nice try, lady. But she goes to court dressed as Princess Leia with the white and the hair and everything. It was awesome. So just really, really funny. My next one would be, since we take these actors' roles, I'm just going to take a little bit when she did Sarah Palin. On SNL. She did it a couple of times. It was dead on. And it was at a great time. It's during the election cycle. And it was freaking brutal. It was just brutal and funny. And anybody who wants to say that women aren't funny are just dead wrong.
Oh, God, no.
You know? Yeah. Because, oh, man. So good.
At the beginning, when she's doing that, it was scary in a way, because she was giving more attention to Sarah
I
Palin
know, right?
than Sarah Palin was getting on her own.
I
And
know.
so I was almost like, maybe we don't need to see too much of Sarah Palin in any capacity. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
because she was getting more airtime.
They were so,
For
and
Tina
then
Fey.
when you see Tina Fey as Sarah Palin meeting up with Sarah Palin,
Yes.
it was just like, wow, it was so funny,
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And then my next one, when you started talking about admissions or
Yeah.
whatever, I thought, because as you were talking about collaborating with people, I thought you were going to go date night.
I thought
we were going to
no.
But,
That was way up there. But I also kind of thought I liked the other one. I like the combination just a little better because it's not all comedy. But I also kind of figured that I think that you were going to go with
date night is fantastic. Here, these two like comedy mega stars together, and it was almost, but not quite. It was almost like, oh, what would happen if Liz Lemon married Michael Scott? Yeah. But it wasn't quite that, and it was great that it was a little devolve into that.
Exactly.
You know, and it was great, and it wasn't one of these things where, because sometimes in movies
it
like
wasn't
that,
made to be that either.
Right?
Like,
no.
It was,
but sometimes in movies like that, like the husband's an absolute idiot, or the wife is like they go to these extreme caricatures, and it didn't do that.
No, it didn't.
And it was like it was
well balanced.
Yeah, and it was a great little. It was almost like a rom-com for like a married couple because they kind of found they got to be a little bit jazzier together.
Yeah.
And there's some great there's a great Mark Wahlberg shows up. And it's so funny. It's such a great, and you don't see her in a lot of movies, but when you do, she's really, really great. Mean Girls, which she wrote, she was great in that, but she was almost just sort of an aside. She was like almost like a voice of reason in that. She was great, but I like her more in Date Night because she got to do more comedy stuff there. She and Steve Carell just played off of each other. So well, really, just a great pairing.
I limit myself to movies because, as you know, or you may know this too, I don't watch as much TV as movies, and so I don't feel like I can pick a role that I haven't really gotten into, or spent time with. Another one that it's a smaller role, and it's a funny movie that I should revisit. Invention of Lying.
Oh yeah.
And nobody can lie. The basic premise is nobody can lie yet.
Nobody has lied.
Nobody has.
Except Ricky Gervais.
Nobody hasn't figured out a loophole or something. And so everybody's just brutally honest. So she's like the secretary at where the Ricky Gervais character works. And it's just funny because everybody's brutally honest. They cannot lie.
Yeah.
They can't even sugarcoat things. No white lie, nothing. And so just her little repartee with honesty she's just like, you are going to get fired. Everybody's talking about it. Stuff like that one. And he goes, well, let's pretend I don't. You still have to take my messages or something like that one. I don't see what the point is. You are getting fired. And he's just like, let's just take these messages anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. No, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about SNL. What do you think?
Yeah.
Why is it still?
That's a good question. I maybe because at my age or whatever, I've stopped watching it, and I will watch it if somebody says you got to see this skit or this is funny. I'll see stuff, but I was just kind of getting to a point, I guess, where it wasn't, the time invested wasn't worth what I was getting back. There was no good return on it, and I've never really returned to it to check in.
I think it's still great.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good seasons, bad seasons. It's had its ups and downs. I mean, it's been around for 47 seasons,
75,
right?
Yeah.
So, but I think overall, I think it's good.
Okay.
It's still lively. I think it's still. I mean, I haven't watched the show in a long time, but I'll check out almost on a weekly basis. I'll watch like the weekend update stuff, which is always really timely and really funny.
Well,
That's always really great,
Yeah.
and I'll catch a lot of the sketches. I think it's still great. I think that it's become less of a. It used to be just a machine to churn out, like, all right, let's churn out a character and bam, throw it on the screen. Like in the '80s, there was a lot of that. It's like, oh, let's take one of these characters and make it into a movie. And I don't think that it needs to do that or it does that anymore. I mean, you see some of these characters go and do all other stuff, but like, but it doesn't seem to function anymore, and I don't know why. It doesn't seem to function anymore as just a stepping stone,
or like a proving
to
ground,
movies. Like movies don't necessarily seem to be like, oh, I'm going to leave and go do this.
Well, that's when it started. The not ready for primetime players. That was going to be a stepping stone if you made it. That was going to be a stepping stone to get to something else.
Right. That's what you did. You left.
The bigger stage.
Yeah, you left. But now it's like people don't necessarily leave to go do that.
Correct.
So, or they'll go leave and they'll do other stuff. They'll come back and guest host. There's a nice, relationship there.
Yeah, like a revolving door.
Yeah. Thing. So, and I think it's still good. I think it's still relevant. And I think it's a good. I hope to see it continue to keep going.
Like I said, I have not been watching.
Yeah,
it,
no, I think
I haven't. Like, if somebody says, "Oh, you got to see this skit," I will.
Yeah, and there's
or you got to see this. The SNL update. You know what I mean? The weekend update. You'll see. But I don't. I haven't watched. No, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched broadcast TV, and I don't know how long. Like I have not. Like, tell you the last time this thing is on at this time. I'm going to watch it. I haven't done that in 5 or 6 years. I don't know when. I mean, since like Game of Thrones was on, I would watch that when it was on because you had to. So but I think that SNL is still needs to be around. You're more knowledgeable on this than I am. Like I said, Okay, very good. Like back in the day, I mean, it was the
but it also had its bad seasons. Like
definitely
the 1980s season where it was like they
shut it down after the middle 80s.
Yeah,
it was a little weird.
Yeah,
too.
It was like
it started getting It got to the point, I think, where they were not well. They had some people in there as players, and then it almost seemed like they were reaching out to go to get people who were in movies. They brought them in as like cast members for a year.
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. was not there long. I don't think he was.
No. I don't think Joan Cusack was there either. Like one season maybe, but it was strange that they like almost needed help. So they said, let's just bring some people in right now as a stopgap measure to get us back.
There was a period of time where Lorne Michaels was gone, and I think that he's managed to shepherd this show. I mean, it's really kind of amazing, like almost 50 years. And it's still fresh and interesting and all that. So and culturally relevant. So
glad to hear that part.
Okay. Anyway, hey, who's next?
I don't know. No idea. What you got? What you got? Ready to go to not that one, put it back.
All right. Ooh, this will be a good one. Yeah, that's one that
haven't we? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, very good.
Very good stuff. So, all right, folks. Hey, thanks for watching the podcast and listening to the YouTube thing. And let's reverse that. I did that on purpose. Anywho, I totally did. Anyway, thanks, kids.
Purpose.
You all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching and subscribing and all that stuff. Bye-bye.